All right, well, here we are with the successful remodeler again. And, this is only my second video, so I'm still kind of figuring out how I want to do everything. And, still figuring it all out. So bear with me as I change things up a little bit. So I know I need to keep looking at the screen better too. Um, So, in my first video, I talked a little bit about the history of my company, a little bit about changing your mindset towards giving your time and talent away for free and really, not making money in this business and, just changing your mindset towards charging what you're worth. And so, if you have talent and you're skilled in this business, and what I mean by that is you deliver a good product to your client. They're happy with the end result. They're pretty pleased with the process. You can make the process a little bit better, but as far as the end product goes, they're happy with the end product. But you're not making money, and so you need to make money. And in order to make money, you have to charge what you're worth. And again, you have to deliver. Okay, so now in this episode, I wanted to define a few terms. Some of these terms you may be familiar with, some you may not be familiar with. I'm going to assume that most people use some kind of software for doing their accounting. Before we can make money, we really have to use some accounting software, because if you're doing it any other way, you really can't track your money sufficiently at all. So first is, P&L, profit and loss statement. Pretty simple. You got your cost of goods sold, your overhead expenses, and at the top actually is your sales. So all the money that comes in is your revenue. Then you've got the cost of goods sold, which is how much it costs to build the job, and then your overhead expenses. And then you've got your net profit. And that's before taxes, generally speaking. Um, uh, then, some more terms to be familiar with are markup, margin, and job cost. Personally, I like looking at projects based on job cost, not margin. Um, the reason I like job cost is it's how much it costs to build the job. And, that's what this is all about. I mean, margins are great. We need margin. We need to hit our margins, but we need to know what that term means and use that term appropriately, and then use the job cost term. Um, if you have employees, you want to discuss job cost with them, not how much money, gross profit the company is making, because that's your margin, is also known as gross profit. So you're discussing job cost with your employees. It cost 60% job cost, or the project ran 60% job cost, or it ran 70% job cost, or 80% job cost, or I really hope not, but 90 or 95 or 100 or whatever. I mean, so that's how much it costs to build the job. So again, that's how you really want to discuss that with your employees. And then margin is your gross profit. So if you run a 70% job cost, which is still too high, if you run a 70% job cost, that means your margin is 30%, and you have 30% to pay your bills, and yourself, and your employees, and whomever else has got to get paid for working at your company. And so that 70% belongs to the other people that built the job, whether that's your employees or all subcontractors or whatever. For our terms here, we'll probably just go with the idea that, all subcontractors, and then you might have, hopefully, an employee or two or three or four, that are all in overhead, and then maybe their salaries are divided up. But we don't want to get too complicated with all that. We want to keep it high level right now. So high level, all subcontractors out in the field, maybe a few people in admin, or however that breaks down. So 70% job cost means that 70% of how much money you took in belongs to the people who built the job. And only 30% of that belongs to you. That's not very much. So if you do a $100,000 job, that means that you should have a gross profit of $30,000. Well, how do we get 70% job cost? Well, you have to track what it costs to build your project, and then you have to add a markup to it, which is not 30%. Your markup is different than margin. Most people don't understand that. And I don't understand the math on this, I just know what works. So let's just say it cost you $70,000 to build the job, and you want a 70% job cost. Then you take your cost of how much it cost you to build the job, and then divide that by 70%. I think that's right. Let's just do that real quick and make sure, because I forget sometimes how that math works. I've been doing it so long you'd think I'd remember now. $70,000 divided by 0.70%. No, that's not right. $70,000 divided by 70%. That's it. So if it costs you $70,000 to build the project, divide that by your job cost target percent. If your target percent job cost is 80, which is way too high, then you're going to divide it by 80%, and that's going to give you the retail amount that you should sell your project for. So back to our 70, just because we were working with that number, and I know that's, I'm kind of rambling on, probably getting a little confusing. So let's stick with this. $70,000 divided by 70% equals $100,000. And that's what your retail price would be $100,000. That means you get to keep gross profit, $30,000. Then the $70,000 that it costs to build the job is divided up based on how everybody does the work and so on and so forth. What all your prices are with your subcontractors, blah, blah, blah. So $70,000 to build it, $30,000 gross profit. Your gross profit then goes to pay for your trucks, your fuel, your anything that's your overhead, licenses, insurance, uniforms if you have company uniforms. I'm drawing a blank right now. Website, marketing, cell phones, computers, software, so on and so forth. All those things that it takes to run the company, but not actually build the job. If it takes whatever it takes to build the job, that should be in your job cost. And so if you have to rent a tool, that's job cost. That's not overhead. I know some people put it in the overhead category, but that doesn't make sense. It belongs in job cost because that's what it takes to build the job. If you have to buy gas to put in a blower or whatever you might have, a generator on the job, that fuel for that job, for that generator, belongs in that job cost. So back to our terms, we've got P&L, gross profit, margin, markup, net profit, so that's kind of at a high level, all those various terms. Sorry, I'll try and get more clear in the future and not stammer and stutter and beat around the bush so much. But hopefully that was helpful. And if you have any questions about those things, I'd be happy to answer your questions. But I got to tell you, I'm not going to coach you for free. Just like I'm telling you to value your time and to get paid sufficiently for your work, I need to get paid for mine. So I'm happy to answer a few questions, but I'm not going to coach you for free. If you'd like some coaching and you would like me to help you make money and help you tame the chaos and get some predictable profitability, I'd love to help you do that. I have some pretty reasonable packages that we could buy some hours for. or we could just start with, just one off by the hour, and then, just see how we like each other. And if we like each other, then we can do some more business together, and move to a package. But the messages, and then the first phone call, and I should say that first. Here I am, I haven't figured out my whole spiel and my pitch and how I'm going to do all this stuff, so well yet, to communicate it to you as nicely as I used to when I was doing my remodeling sales. Anyways, first phone call, always free. Let's just talk for 30 minutes and see if we like each other, and see if you think I could help you make money. Because if you want to change, then I can help you change, and I can help you make money. But if you're just going to whine, moan, groan, and complain, then I'm not really even interested. I want to help people change their business, change their mindset, change the way they're running their operations, so that actually they could make money and enjoy a quality of life. So if that's you, give me a call or shoot me a message, like I said. Cheers, and see you next time.